YouTubers, welcome back to AZ2 Ozarks. The video today is to show you our experience of preparing a country cured ham and trying it for the very first time. This is not at all an instructional or how-to video. This is my first time, and to be honest, I'm a little bit intimidated. So this ham, I actually cured it by doing a class with the Missouri Extension for Missouri State University. And I did it back in March, and they helped walk us through the process where you use a curing mixture and salt and wrap it in paper, and then they had us hang it. It's been hanging in the barn ever since then. We did rewrap it at one point, kind of shook off some of the salt according to the instructions and rehung it with new paper, but it has been sitting out in the barn all this time. And it has been ready for a while, but like I said, I was a little bit intimidated to actually process it. I'm kind of nervous we won't even like it, but we were looking for a way to prepare hams. Back in February, we had purchased a butcher hog from some neighbors of ours, and each hog has 2 hams on it, but the butcher had prepared it into 4 half hams. And so this is one of those halves, and those other 3 are still frozen in my deep freezer. I really need to get to preparing this ham so we know if this is a good way for us to prepare and eat ham. So we will see as we go through this process. As I marked on the label, this ham started out at 13 pounds. It has been drying and curing for several months, and now let's see how heavy it is. So it looks like it is just under 8 pounds, so it lost quite a bit of weight through the moisture, and now we will move to the first step. Now I have moved over to my kitchen sink because I suspect this will make a bit of a mess when I open it up. So we are going to open it up out of the outer net, which is what we had it hanging by. And we had it hanging up in the barn very high, and the purpose of that was to keep like rodents and things like that from getting into it. Bugs apparently don't like the cure and leave it alone, but you can see it was pretty well wrapped. So let's go ahead and open it up. The paper is kind of soaked with grease and such. It has an interesting smell. Okay, there it is. All right. Okay, so here is our honey cured ham. It's very shrunken down, and you can see there's visible mold on it. That is normal and to be expected. So at this stage, what I'm going to do is to use a scrub brush and water and rinse it off and scrape off the mold. I'm going to use cool water. Right, it's relatively rinsed off. There's definitely some stuff left, but we are going to be soaking it for 12 to 24 hours, and it says you can trim it at this point. And I think I'll trim off some of this fat, but in all honesty, I don't know how it is professionally done. There's whole competitions and stuff based on beautifully trimming these. And to start with, mine, it is a half a ham, so it doesn't have that beautiful whole ham appearance to start with. It's definitely not going to win any records, but I'm going to trim off some of this shoe of fat here. I'm sure if any of you have done this before, you're probably cringing at my inability, but I'm moving over to a cutting board here because yeah, it's too slippery in the sink. Not really working out well. Now it's important to remember this is a raw ham. It is not fully cooked at all. Okay, this is about where I'm at with this. I've got some of the thicker fat removed, and you can see here this pile of fat, and I don't know what you're supposed to do with that, but in all honesty, I'm probably going to discard it because I'm sure it's super salty, and I don't know, maybe you could make beans or something with it, but I'm going to discard that. Now I have placed the ham inside a great big stock pot, and I'm going to add cool water, and we will just soak it for 12 to 24 hours, but you're supposed to change out the water a few times during that period of time. And what this does is it removes some of the salt from the ham to make it less salty. So we're just going to begin the soaking process. It has been 24 hours that the ham has been soaking in water. I've changed out the water a couple times. This helps reduce the saltiness. So now I'm going to give it one more rinse, some fresh water, and we will begin the cooking process. Using my scrub brush again, I will scrub the ham one more time, try and get off any remaining mold. Now it goes back into our pot to refill again, and then onto the stove. I am placing the big pot of water on my smallest burner on the stove on the lowest setting because we want to barely have a simmer going, and we will do that for 25 minutes per pound of the ham, which works out to about 3.5 hours for me. I will come back and check it periodically, and I'm looking for internal temperature of 165 degrees. I still have about 10 minutes remaining on my time for the suggested amount of cook time, but as you can see, this has already reached almost 200 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to call it quits here. I am going to allow it to cool in its own cooking liquid, and country cured hams are typically eaten cold. So at least room temperature, if not cold. So I'm going to allow this to cool down to room temperature before trying to slice it and give it a little taste test. It is already really late in the evening, and this ham has not cooled down to room temperature. So I'm just going to transition it to a tray and put it in the refrigerator for the night so it can continue cooling overnight. This ham is very strange looking compared to what I normally purchase, like a honey baked ham that's spiral sliced. I don't really know how to slice this. It's going to be interesting. We are just going to give it a try and taste it and see what we think about it. Really, this is something I'm quite nervous about. I've been reluctant to do, and I don't even know if my kids are going to want to try it on camera. We'll see if I can round them up. All right, my kids are really reluctant to try this. They're kind of freaked out by the whole thing that it had mold on it. And to be honest, it doesn't smell very good. It's been in the refrigerator overnight, and when you open the refrigerator, it's very stinky, strong smell. This is what the meat kind of looks like. It looks kind of roast beef-ish, kind of different. Has a stronger smell. It doesn't smell like hams that I'm used to, but I'll try it on camera, and if I end up getting sick, I will put it when I post the video, but I'm sure that it's perfectly fine. This is the way people historically preserved and ate hams. So I know in my mind that it's just fine. I've just worked it up. I'm trying to expand into less conventional things that I'm accustomed to and try different and new things. So here goes. Well, it's very salty. I mean, it tastes like ham, just more salty. It's a stringier texture. Like tougher, it takes more chewing. It wouldn't be like lunch meat, but almost more like barbecued or pulled beef. But it's nice. I don't mind the saltiness of it. I think it's actually good. For my kids to eat it and my husband to eat it, I'll probably put it in beans is what I'm imagining. Like making cooked beans. We'll see. I don't know. So this is my experience of using a honey cured ham, cooking it. It had already been cured before I started the video. I did that back in March, but it's interesting. It's different. I think it's something that we could definitely do. I don't know that I'll prepare the other 3 hams that I have in the same fashion. I'll continue to look for different methods. But if you don't have access to refrigeration, I think this is a good option, and that's probably why people historically did this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to keep following our adventure.